I don't want to talk about him. No, I don't want to talk about him. No, I don't want to talk about him. No, no, no. It's been 20 years of talking about them. I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to talk about them. Unless I get to criticize them. And therefore, it's open season. So, hey everybody, I'm Cortez and I'm a critic and welcome. We are continuing the NFL 2025 recap before the draft. Hopefully get these videos out before then, as now we are in the AFC East. And we are talking or mocking the division winners. And no, it's not Buffalo. Miami didn't somehow rejuvenate the career, and we all know it's not the Jets, so let's stop pretending. It is an old foe. But we have discovered something about them that we all can be very proud of. And the thing is, they're phonies! A big fat phonies! And nothing makes me happier than watching phonies get called phonies and then get proven to be phonies. Let's talk about the New England Patriots and laugh. Now, I know I'm mocking the Patriots, and we all hate the Patriots. I never hated the Patriots. As a matter of fact, I was on the Patriot bandwagon back in the early days, including the year of the Tuck and Tom Brady's first Super Bowl and all that, because they were the lovable underdogs. They're like, oh, look at them. They got a championship. Good go. I'll put a gold star on your cubby holder. And then he started winning, making commercials, getting popular, to the point where now you're like, it's like watching the nerd that gets picked on in school, gets a gym regimen, and then by his senior year, he's an asshole. He's a jerk. He's a piece of shit. And you're like, what happened to my chess champion buddy who played Fortnite until 3 o'clock in the morning? What happened to you? Now you're an asshole with a drinking problem and a tendency to be involved in the principal's office. What happened to my buddy? And then you got clean, you got better, you went to church, or you stopped playing video games, one or the other. And then you went to college, and your first 2 years you're like, oh, look at him, he's finding his identity again. And then when you got straight A's, somehow you think you're the shit again, and now everyone hates you. That's the Patriots. They were lovable losers. They became champions. And then, like everything else, and like the Chiefs, we're sick of them. And we're like, please go away. Please go away. But with a new head coach in Vrabel, which was so obvious that even a blind man could have told that was going to happen. And then Drake May, who even I was like, I have no idea what you guys see in him. I don't see how good as he is. Mainly because I'll have that Mitch Trubisky, North Carolina top pick in my head going, no, I don't see what you guys see. Nope. But then he showed out. He was great. He was one vote away from MVP. And quite frankly, thank God I didn't win MVP, because then it would have been the most unimpressive MVP winner in a Super Bowl performance ever. So that is something we should be very thankful for. Now, with Vrabel coming in, I did not see the Patriots changing as much quickly, even with the schedule being so weak. So I said 7-10. But if still just breaking down 4-13, I still feel like the Patriots still have a lot of work to do, and Vrabel can only do so much in his first year. And even when the season started, I was like, they're getting wins here and there. That's good. And then you start realizing some of the good teams suck now. Some of the wins are good. And then you start getting that debate week in and week out from Stephen A. Smith, from Chris Collinsworth, to Troy Aikman, to everyone else in suits and ties and YouTube galore. Who have they beaten? Who have they beaten? You tell me. Who are they beaten? Because to me, they really have beaten nobody. And then when you start mentioning teams, you're going, but they weren't good. At least not the way we thought they were. So, clever segue. Your guys' best game was probably against the team that probably had the most potential of being your top opponent, even though they missed the playoffs and fired their head coach. Week 16 at Baltimore. Now, you guys just came off a hard-fought loss to division foe Buffalo, who was feeling like the division is theirs because they felt like some people do when you see your division foe play against a much superior team. You know, Rams over the Panthers. You thought that was going to happen. You thought Baltimore would have been like, oh, look, the Patriots. We have Lamar Jackson back. We need to fight for a playoff spot. And you come off a loss. Cool. Let's beat you up. But, which is funny, the Patriots were undefeated in the road this year. I mean, at least at that time. And I just can't help but feel like, was this a good Patriot win or a bad Raven loss? I know that's being kind of a meme, but I just can't help but feel like, do we need to distinguish the two here? Is it a good Patriot win? Yes, it's on the road against a Baltimore team that has Lamar Jackson. That should be a good win, because it was probably the only team besides the Bills where really was there. And yes, you're probably gonna say, well, then put the first Bills game. I'm like, but the Bills have lost to terrible teams before, the worst. They lost to the Jets before. Doesn't mean anything, especially that early in the year. This one meant something, because after they came out of a loss to the Bills, they had to win this one. So yeah, it was a good win. Statistically, anyway. This is the Patriots stats. 370 yards passing versus 159 by the Ravens. Nearly 120 yards more of offense. Drake May outduels Lamar Jackson, a two-time MVP who was criticized for most of his career, and probably still is, as not a quarterback, lost to a person that no one questions is a quarterback. Let's throw that into the fire of debate and let them burn each other. So, that's your best game. Now, your worst game is very easy. You lost 2 games in your first 4 weeks. I don't count the first 4 weeks. You lost to the Raiders week 1, and you lost to Pittsburgh in week 3. So, congratulations. There's only one loss to talk about. And it was your worst loss because it looked very much like you guys should have won this going away. Week 15, hosting Buffalo. Now, Buffalo wanted payback. And they had a long time. But you guys had a 21-point lead. And you lost. 3 touchdowns early is impressive. It's a good statement. So the question that we feel like for teams or for fans, what would you rather be? The team that has a big lead and then just holds on to it until the very end and still win, but you didn't do anything after the first half? Or be a team that, is either tied or only has 10 points and then score 3 touchdowns in the second half and come back to win that way? What would you rather be? Have a big lead and hold on to it? Or have a big second half to solidify it at the end? But either way, one half has to be weaker than the other drastically. And then at one point, it was 24-7 at halftime. So even when Buffalo tried, you're like, oh, you're trying, good job. But then the second half happened. And Buffalo scored 3 straight touchdowns. Yeah, and then Patriots fans got scared. But then Henderson to the rescue. The rookie sensation. But then, of course, the Bills player did it. And then ultimately, the Bills took the win. It was your worst loss on the grounds of two big things. One, it's the only loss I can count. It's the only loss I can count. Your other two losses were in the first 4 weeks. I don't count the first 4 weeks, so there you go. And good thing it was your worst loss, because any team that has a 3-touchdown lead in any capacity of the game, whether it's first, second, third, or fourth quarter, and you still lose, and you're the home team, mind you, that's the worst game. Because psychologically, it just feels like you have a 3-touchdown lead and you're at home. How you lose? It's a division foe. Yes, I know it's a division foe, but still, a 3-touchdown lead is still a 3-touchdown lead. I gave the Bucks worst game on a 2-touchdown lead. So, it's your worst game, mainly because it's the only game I can count. MVP. It's Drake May. I am not going to give him the MVP on the ground of an easy schedule. I'm giving him the MVP because, easy schedule or not, he didn't let that make excuses for his performances when he has bad performances, even in wins. Drake May proved that he can make do with less. I still feel like the strength of the Patriots was the running backs, I should say. But I mean, let's do a quick look. Look at their statistics. The leading receiver for the Patriots was Diggs, was just over 1,000 yards, and Diggs is gone. Now the Patriots did get Romeo Doubs, but I don't see the Patriots having a legit number one right now. At least someone that can, be with May for years to come and not be a hand-me-down or a temporary placeholder. So, I mean, I know they did get a wide receiver in Williams in the draft, but he's not number one. He's not number one. So for me, you guys really need to get yourself a number one wide receiver. And Drake May had 30 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, which, as I said before, if you got 25 more touchdowns and you keep your interceptions to single digits, that's a good season in my book, especially if you play all games of the season. Now, your grade, you went to the Super Bowl. I didn't give you that credit. You went 14-3. I didn't give you that credit at all. Nope. I don't care if the schedule was easy. You went to the Super Bowl. Sucks if everyone else sucks. So, hey, congratulations. No doubt. You went to the Super Bowl. You lost, but still, hey, good job. Now when it comes to the draft, I must say this. You're picking 31 overall. 31st. What do you really need? I kind of addressed it earlier. So to me, what you guys really need to consider is, do you trade back for more players, like the old Patriot way, or do you go aggressive and maybe trade up, maybe? Or you just sit where you are and just see what's available and then you address accordingly, like some teams do. There's a part of me where I feel like you need to address the pass rush because some of your players are gone. You need to address the wide receiver department because you need to get better. And then figure out what to do offensive lineman because the Campbell pick is now becoming controversial. I don't think it is, but maybe consider it. But for me, in no real particular order, with the 31st overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, Zion Young, edge defensive end Mizzou. Vrabel is a defensive end linebacker kind of guy when he was in the Patriots, so maybe try to find someone that has a similar attributes like he did that can rush the pass and then cover. If not, Amar Cooper Jr., the wide receiver from Indiana, he had a very productive year with Mendoza. I say get him because I'm telling you right now, if he's available at 33 when the Raiders pick again in the second round, I would not be surprised if he goes with Mendoza to the Raiders. Give your number one quarterback, his number one receiver that he used, that was successful. You have that chemistry built. We saw what Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase has done. We're not seeing it too much with Troy Franklin and Bo Nix in Denver, but we saw with the potential. So get him before the Raiders do, because I tell you the Raiders will probably get him at number 2 in the second round, or number 1 second round. He'll be number 2. He'll be the second pick for the Raiders, what I'm saying. R. Mason Thomas, edge, Oklahoma. our Mason is probably one of the top edges that I'm seeing a lot of people potentially getting him second round. They'll address their major need in the first round, and then they'll get him the second. I see people like Baltimore. I see people like Tampa. I see people like Dallas. He is in he's in a lot of people that are looking for a good pass rusher for rotation or potential starter moving forward is him. So those who I think the Patriots should probably consider. Because some of your defensive players that were there last year are gone. So get them now and then get your receiver a good number one. Because I guarantee you, a lot of rookies or a lot of young quarterbacks are probably going to get their number one receiver in this year's draft, if not already last year's draft. So, and that is the New England Patriots. We can stop talking about them. You guys, some of you can come out of the corner now. Come on. We're done talking about the Patriots. No more. But let's talk about the next great nightmare of the AFC East. I know. You're not going to like it. Especially for Rich Eisen. We're talking about the Jets next. Because we have to. We have to. I promise on this channel that I'll give all 32 teams a spotlight. So we're going to talk about the Jets. Another franchise that I think should be on the watch list of worst business practices. So until next time, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.